Hi everyone, so just a quick note on the war. You would have seen before all the war kicked off that I predicted this, and then subsequently I was predicting what was happening in the background, like strategic moves, a wrong decision, using your ego. What was I calling that strategy move? It wasn't a hasty decision, but the anticipation of the opponent and the other side, and then making a bad decision. It's all in my predictions and even in the war readings. I also said in one of my last ones on the war, I mentioned about the difference between destiny and fate in this war, and I went through, just really outlining for us what is the difference between our destiny and what is the difference between our fate. One is what we arrive with, depending on your belief, and one is, through human consciousness, intelligence, our decisions, we can, your destiny's there, but your fate, you can change your direction, you can change the impact. So I mentioned that, and I mentioned this war right now as it was heated. It kicked off, or it was just going to kick off. I said this is going to need prayers, but also it needs human intelligence. So let's pray for that. I also predicted on my page that in 10 days there is going to be a massive explosion. Between the destiny and fate, it's the one where it says on the video 3 leaders, one destiny, okay, and then the post of the 10 days there could be a mass explosion. And in April I said about certain dates, so we definitely hit the 8th and 9th. I think I mentioned the 9th, and this particular day is this week, and then I mentioned the 12th. It's like the 9th and then the 12th, the 13th, and then the week that I mentioned 17th to the 21st, give or take it till the 22nd. Well, what come through last minute was human intelligence, wasn't it? It was a Pakistani leader or president who came through and used his mind and went between them, and now there's a ceasefire. But obviously there's one country that gets away with murder. YouTube, I'm saying it in a jest way, not that YouTube will understand jest, but this is for entertainment purposes only, but literally they are, not only in a jest way, because of the genocide, slaughtering in Palestine. It is that country, and they've not ceasefired. Actually, they've gone full blown on Lebanon. The country is Izzy, right? And I must admit, if I look at all the Arab and Middle Eastern countries, Iran is the only one that's kind of stood up but not been someone's whore. Regardless. So now there's currently a ceasefire, but Izzy's not doing as it's supposed to, and calling in Lebanon and saying it's for Hezbollah and that side of Islam. Again, remember I said they'll pull it in as they wish. Anyway, my point is not to get too into that. Again, I'm unbiased here, but when I see genocide of humanity and trying to extinct or just, take over of countries illegally, that I have a problem with, whether it would be my country or not. So I just wanted to bring that up. There was another prediction I wanted in video to bring up, so check those videos out. You'll see exactly what I said. It held that 10 days. The human intelligence stepped in, which stands in the form of the Pakistani leader, and whoever was praying, it adds to that, right, for that person to come forward. Of course, now this ceasefire, there's pressure building underneath, okay? Believe me on that. And I think a lot of people might think that a duck might just suddenly do something as in suddenly BOMB Iran. But he could really shuffle up, by the way, because clearly he's done some wrong decisions and not been backed up by the country that is also behind this, and I think had a greater benefit to cause the instability in the Middle East, because it does want to it borders, and it does have its eyes on some regions in Lebanon as well. I did pull up a map of where I believe it's going to try and broader its borders, and really wants to get rid of the Arab kind of region. But don't be surprised if also there's a different move that happens. So with the current ceasefire, and like I said, underneath it there's pressures. There's, checking your cards. It's like a pressure cooker underneath. So this ceasefire, I don't think is going to last beyond the 22nd, 23rd upon my dates that I was getting in April. But again, I do want to say there's destiny, there's fate. So if someone happens to shuffle, someone uses the human intelligence, there's something that stops something. There could be a further delay, mitigation for now, but it will never until, something bigger happens. So just like the Pakistani leader that stepped in, but this time we're going to see. But yeah, I don't think this is a ceasefire. I mean, we've already seen Izzy just doing what it wants. And I don't think Duck can say anything to him. It's a mad world, isn't it? So I am going to come up with predictions for the next 40 days, but it's actually themes, because I feel like there's a potent energy. It's going to look at health, it's going to look at global collectively, and I'm going to give you like 2-3 predictions in terms of 2026, 27 in that as well. And then I'm going to also look at the AI and the growth and expansion around that, and try and put what I'm channeling along with maybe what they're saying in terms of years. Probably astrologers were saying about Pluto in Aquarius for 20 years, and I think so for the 20 years, just looking at time frames of that AI and the impact, but tapping in, and so maybe breaking it down and making it clearer for us. And the US probably a leading country in this, so I might use US, and then we can see how other countries would be slower. I think Swiss will really try to oppose some of the monitoring of their humans. So that's how we're seeing, right? Like digital ID surveillance. I feel like they're still gonna stand with their citizens. Not totally not follow, but I feel like there's something there. And I might do a little short clip on AI. I've done a video on AI. Please do check it out. It's very important. It's not expiring now. It's really, really important for you to be aware of it. It might have been 5 months ago. And I'm going to leave the rest for future videos. I don't want to harbour on about supporting the channel, because there's some people and members that support it and give. Honestly, I'm so grateful. If it wasn't for these individuals, I would not continue, because it's actually quite draining to put energy where it's not reciprocated. But I look at it and it's a platform. And that's the other thing. AI is spoiling these platforms, which I'll go into. But yes, I am eternally grateful. And some of you might know, if you were members, that I do give back, even in my services, which I don't promote. you know, a lot of people will be promoting. If you become a member, you can get X out of my services, and my services are quite cheap. If you look, everyone's increased their services, but I haven't. So I hope you have a blessed day, everyone. Take care, and I'll be up shortly with another video. Bye for now.